Hey everybody, Teacher Hilton here, and I'm going to talk to you about two common issues that are at different ends of the spectrum, but I think they both can relate to every teacher out there. All right, so the first issue is being patient with the student. When you ask them a question, give them some time to answer. Okay, so for example, you might have something like, "What's this?" And then the student thinks, okay? But instead of being patient, we tell them the answer. We say, "It's an ant." Okay, now that's not a good sign, all right? You don't want to just tell them the answer. You want them to think a little bit, okay? Yeah, sure, they might not know the answer. So what do we do when they don't know the answer? Well, if you said something like, "What's this?" And then suddenly there was this silence, okay, and you don't know, like, what should you do next? Well, this is what you should do. Give them some examples. Now, it's an ant, so it's in an insect family, so think of some other insects. Maybe the student can hear these words and distinguish which is the correct one. Something sort of like multiple choice. Okay, so you could say, "Is it a butterfly?" No. Okay, so then you can help the student. No, it isn't. Sentence structure. Is it a dragonfly? No. Okay, the student feels a little bit more relaxed, and there's a little bit of play going on here, and you'll notice that their motivation will pick up. And then you give them the correct answer. Is it an ant? Yes. Okay, because maybe they couldn't think of the word. It was inside there, but they just couldn't pinpoint it. And maybe they did want to say ant, but they were scared or shy to say it. Okay, so instead of just saying, when there's that silence, "It's an ant," okay, that's not helping the student at all. That's just giving them the answer, and it's going to go in one ear and out the other ear. But if you give them some options, then this will help them to pinpoint the answer, and then they've answered ant, okay, or they might say, yeah, ant. Then you help them with their sentence structure. It's an ant. One more time. It's an ant. Very good. Okay, so that's one thing about being patient with the student. Instead of just asking them a question, giving them the answer, help them to find that answer. And I think that this method you can use on the other point that I'm going to make over here. Okay, so the other point that I want to make is that there are teachers who are too patient with the student. So you ask a question, okay, and you sort of wait for them to answer. Now, I notice this so much, okay? A lot of teachers will say something like, "How was school today?" And the student is not looking at the screen. They're like, maybe they're playing with something, okay? And the teacher thinks, okay, I'll give them some time to think of the answer. And time goes by. So same as before, you're just waiting around. No answer. But instead of helping them, we just keep waiting until they reply. Nothing again. We repeat the question. This is wasting time. Okay, it's the online industry. We're not in a classroom. Okay, if you asked a question in a classroom, if there are students that didn't understand, you could go up to their table and explain to them, but you could focus on the ones that do understand first. And then by going to each of those students in a classroom, the ones that didn't understand would eventually maybe kind of pick up an idea of what they're saying and then be like, "Oh, okay, I know what to say next." Okay, so you're not like pinpointing that student that doesn't know the answer. When online, they're very shy, okay, and it's usually one-on-one. All right, if it's two-on-one, they're also going to be very shy. They don't want to make a mistake in case their friend laughs at them. So same issue. Okay, so this is what a lot of parents say. They say, "My little boy or my little girl was thinking about an answer to the question that the teacher asked, and the teacher didn't give them enough time." Okay, so this is going on to the first point. The teacher didn't give them enough time to think and instead said the answer for the student. it makes my child and me think that the teacher is impatient. And if they're going to be impatient now, especially in a trial lesson, then it's going to have an effect on all the lessons. I can almost see where the lessons are going to go. This is what some of the parents are saying. All right. So the second issue that I brought up about being too patient can also have a negative effect. The parents will say things like, my child didn't understand the question, and they sat and waited for a minute or 2 minutes in silence. There was awkward silence for 1 or 2 minutes, and it happens a lot, believe me. It happens a lot. Okay, this is something you don't want. You don't want any silence in a lesson, especially a trial lesson. If you have an awkward moment of silence, you're going to lose that student, okay? The parents in the room, they're also grading the trial, okay? And they're going to be sitting there and thinking, well, you know, so am I only doing the lesson for 28 minutes now because you just sat there for 2 minutes and, you know, they didn't do anything for 2 minutes? So can I pay for 28 minutes instead of 30 minutes? That's how the parents think, okay? That's how we think. It's money you're spending on your child, and if you're not getting what you expect, okay, it's the same thing. All right, so going on to the part where you're being too patient. When there's that silence, you can give them something like this. For example, how was school today, Isaac? And then you have that silence, right? Okay, that's when that little moment of silence, when you know there's like, it usually takes me 3 to 5, or maybe let's say 3 to 7 seconds to realize that the student needs some help here, okay? I don't wait longer than that. I'm not gonna wait 10 seconds or 15 seconds. That's too long. So, how was your day today, Isaac? Was it fun? Smile. Was it fun? Okay, thumbs up. Was it boring? Or was it very, very bad? Okay. Now, when you're asking them these questions, you're giving them 3 examples. Was it fun? Happy face, thumbs up. If it wasn't, the student will say no. And they say, was it boring? No. You can hear their tone picks up. They go from saying no to getting excited, because now they're able to answer you and it's fun, okay? And then you go to the final one, okay? And you say something, was it very bad? And then they say, yes. All right, so this you can use in like the greeting part. And like I explained with the picture before with the and, it's the same thing here, okay? So it applies to both sides of the spectrum when you're being too patient or too impatient. All right, you can help to guide the student. Let me give you another example. Maybe you're talking about superheroes. So you could say something like, what can your superhero do? Silence. Can he fly? No, okay. Can he jump very high into the sky? No, okay. Can he shoot with his hands? And then the student might say, yeah, shoot. Okay, you're helping them with the vocabulary. Maybe they didn't know that word, shoot, with their hands, okay? So they'll say, yeah. Then you model the sentence for them. So my superhero can shoot with his hands. Can you repeat that after me? My superhero can shoot with his hands. Very good. What can he do? Shoot. What can he do? Shoot. All right, then you move on. That way you've helped the student, because they might not have known the teacher talk. They might not have understood the question. All right, and this is also important that you ask questions relevant to their level. Don't overdo it and don't underdo it. You don't want to ask a child that is an intermediate speaker something like, what color is the dog? It's white, or it's blue, okay? You don't want to do something like that. You want to ask them questions that are relevant to their level. All right, so Basically, when the student can't answer, as a teacher, we guide them. That's what we do as a teacher. And that is a trick that all teachers should have, okay? You should have this ability. When a student is struggling, you know what to do. You don't just move on. I've got 30 minutes to get through the lesson. They can't read, they can't read, they can't do this. I'm just gonna give them the answers and we're gonna go through because I need to finish the book. No, you're there to guide them. We're teaching them. We're not just doing a lesson and getting paid for it. Sorry if you think that that's how it is. It's not, okay? We are teaching these young children to speak English, okay? We've got to make them come out of their shells. They can't be shy, all right? We've got to motivate them. We've got to encourage them. We've got to make them feel like they can talk to you about anything. And then that way, when you ask them a question, they tell you everything. I can ask my students, how was school today? 3 weeks ago, they were just saying fine or okay or boring. 3 weeks ago. Now they're telling me, oh, teacher, something happened at school. My friend gave me this new pen. Look at this new pen. And then they're showing me their pen and they're talking about their whole day. And that makes me feel great because they are talking. Whereas before, I had to kind of push and push and push. All right. So you need to give them some hints and some answers to guide them to the answer because they might not know the word. They might be too shy. All right. Or they just, something else is going on. Maybe they're having some trouble at home. Okay. So I think that these are some options that you can try. And it will help the students to say the answer by themselves. Okay, so remember, don't be too patient with the student, okay? Don't wait in awkward silence. That is a no-no, no awkward silence. And the second point is be patient, okay, but to a point. Don't just give them the answer, okay? We don't want that to happen. So please remember these tips and happy teaching. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Bye-bye.